Hello, my friends. If somebody asks you to play a G sharp 9 flat 13th or a G flat 9 sharp 11 13th, would you know how to do that? Well, actually, I promise you that if you watch this video to the very end, you'll understand how to play these, and you'll see that it's actually a fairly simple concept. Let's begin. So in our left hand, let's play a G triad, which is the chords, sorry, the notes G, B, and D. And if you add an F to that, as most of you know, you're playing a G7, more correctly called a G dominant 7 chord. So what is this G9, G11, G13? Let me explain. So the basic rule is whatever the number is, you subtract 7 from it, and that will tell you that extra note that you're adding to the G7. The G7 is the base for all of these chords. So they all contain that flattened 7th. In the case of G, it's an F note. Okay, so 9 minus 7 is 2. What is the 2 in the G chord? The 1 being G. The 2 is G, A. So you add to all the G7 notes, you add an A, and that is a G9. Okay, now to G11, and the notes are cumulative, so for the 11 you add the 7 and the 9 as well. You're supposed to, but you don't. The important thing is to play the 11th on a G11th and the flattened 7th. Okay, so the 11th minus 7 is 4. So what is the 4 note in the G chord? G, A, B, C. So you play the G7, the A, and the C. There you have a G11. Okay, and then the final one's 13. 13 minus 7, 6. What is the 6th note in the G chord? G, A, B, C, D, E. So you add an E in addition to all those other notes. So that is a G13. Now let me show you something kind of cool. If you play a G in the bass and you play a G7 with your right hand, if you just shift this one down, one tone down, you have a G13 right away. Because in shifting it, you're adding the notes F, A, C, and E. All the notes of a G13. Cool, eh? Okay, follow me so far? I hope so. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is altering those extended chords. And the rules are, for the 9, you can sharpen the 9 and flatten the 9th. For the 11th, you can sharpen the 11th. And for the 13th, you can flatten it. Okay, but you can't flatten an 11th and you can't sharpen a 13th. So this is why. So let's see, the 9th in a G chord is A. If you flatten that, you get an A flat or G sharp. If you sharpen it, you get a B flat. That's all legit. Now the 11th is C. If you flatten the C, you get a B. A B is the 3rd of the chord, so it's not a different note. That's why you can't flatten the 11th. But if you sharpen it, you get a C sharp. So that's an altered note. And then for the 13th note in G chord, the 13th note is an E. If you flatten that, you get an E flat. That's cool. But if you sharpen it, you get an F. And an F is already in the G7 chord. It's that flattened 7th note. So that's why you can flatten or sharpen the 9th. You can sharpen the 11th, or you can flatten the 13th. Okay, good. So the final thing I'd like to do is let's go to these chords that I said in the beginning and figure them out. So G sharp 9, flattened 13th. So go with your G. We're playing the G13th, and so it's G sharp 9. So you sharpen the 9, making it a B flat, and you flatten the 13th. There, that is a G sharp 9, flattened 13th. And for the final chord that I wrote down here, it's a G flat 9, sharp 11, 13th. So you go to a G13 and you make the alterations. So G flat 9, flatten the 9th, sharpen the 13th, sharpen the 11th, and the 13th. So now you're playing a G flat 9, sharp 11, 13th. Great. So I hope you learned something about altered chords, extended chords, and please give me a like if you found this useful and you learned something new, and you can follow my channel for more videos like this too. Thank you very much.